Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Em, a lover of all things planning and stationery, and today I'm back with a quarter-one flip of my Hobonichi Weeks. Before I get into the flip, you may have noticed if you've seen my videos before that the background's different. That's because I've actually recently moved and I'm still working out kind of the best filming setup in this new place. So please drop me a comment just to let me know kind of your thoughts on this, whether you prefer the background, whether the lighting's a bit scriffy, anything like that. All comments, feedback welcome. Anyway, with that out of the way, the flip. So this is my Hobonichi Weeks, as I've said. So this is in a cover from Decasca on Etsy. I will, in the description box, leave links to absolutely everything that I can think of and that I can find or remember. So hopefully if there is something that I mentioned that you want to look at, it should be in there. But if not, drop me a comment and I'll let you know where I found something. But this is a beautiful cork cover. I've had it for probably about 18 months now, still wearing beautifully. And yeah, I love it as an alternative to leather. I don't necessarily need leather in all of my planner covers, and this is a nice alternative. There are lots of different colours, and there's a gorgeous olive green one that I need a reason to buy it, basically, which sounds terrible, but yeah, that's next on my list. So the next time I need a planner cover, I'll probably go for the olive green in this, just because it is so beautiful. But cover out of the way, you'll see that I have my Pilot Coletto in the pen loop. I'll talk about more kind of what I use that for as we go on, but the Coletto is probably one of my favourite pens to use in the Hobonichi Weeks. Because I do a lot of colour coding in it, for something that I'll go through later in the later sections, but also because this is one of the best gel inks that I found that actually dries. The smaller the nib, the better when it comes to Coletto. I'm not a huge fan of the tiny nibs, so I tend to use, I'm not quite sure whether that's actually going to focus, but I'm using 0.5 and 0.4. The 0.5 can be a little bit wetter and sometimes I can smear it, but generally it's not too bad. But 0.3 is perfect and dries really quickly. I just don't like the 0.3 nibs because I find them just a little bit scratchy. But yeah, 0.4 seems to be kind of a happy medium when it comes to ink that dries. So in case you haven't seen the setup, keep it really simple. Cocoa Fusion tabs, absolutely adore these in all of my planners. They're just so handy. They move around, so they last absolutely ages, and you can label them. So I have a label maker, and sometimes I'll just label, particularly if it's going to be a permanent section. So yeah, they come with these little kind of pouches that you can then stick on the inside of covers. So it just means that I've always got some tabs ready to go. And then I just have these from Midori on the inside. These are a great size for, particularly in the weeks when it comes to pre-planning or anything like that, because they're not huge, and they've got a few different sizes. So yeah, always have those. In fact, I think this is the same pack that I've probably had about 3 years now. I just move it from planner to planner, but I always love to have something of this size in my planners. First up, just a pocket with my workout stickers, and this is my year at a glance page. So this page is just for a simple look at the exercise that I've done the previous day. So just focusing on that. So as you can see, I've not been doing too badly. There's been the odd week, so I think there's a week in January that I was ill, so you can see that I literally did nothing there. But by and large, I've managed to work out most days. I then have in this space the colour coding key, and so yeah, that just corresponds to what I've done there. So really good start to the year, really strong. Again, March was a bit iffy, but that's actually when I moved around that time, so there's kind of reasons for all of it. You can see in February when I didn't really have anything going on in terms of illness or moving, no excuse basically, I did a pretty good job. So yeah, really happy with my progress on that page. This kind of yearly, I think I call this one yearly overview and this year at a glance. So this is for my weight tracking. So I don't weigh myself every day because that way madness lies, and there can be sometimes such big swings from day to day. It can be really weird, and kind of if you have a bad weigh-in day, it can really knock you. And I've learned that after a few occasions where I've kind of stood on the scales expecting really good news, seen something bad and gone, well, I'm just going to go and have takeaway because what's the point? So yeah, I don't weigh as often. and this is working out really well for me. What I am doing is I have a little key along the side here for different weights. I've not done a particularly good job in terms of how I've spread it out, but hopefully this should cover me for the year. And then the lowest point of the month, I do a little notch to kind of show where that was. And so the idea is that I can see kind of my weight throughout the year. Really great start to the first quarter. My weight's gone down, so hopefully that will continue. That's kind of, I want to lose a little bit more weight, but not a huge amount, so this is kind of my lower level of where I would want to be anyway. So, but if I continue kind of around here, I'll be happy. So yeah, really nice page. I will connect the dots once the 6 months are up so I can get it into a proper line graph, but for now it's just nice to be able to see the notches going down. And then on to the monthly pages. So the monthlies are for meal planning, really simple, not too complicated, really scruffy, but essentially I plan out the meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, make a list of things that I know I need. So this is this has kind of changed over the months. So some months it'll be kind of standard things that I always buy just as a reminder. Some months it'll be things that I know I need. What I've started using this left hand side for now is so I have like a loyalty card for the supermarket that I shop with, and they have an app with different offers for different products each week. So before I do my meal planning, I'll check the app and see if there's anything that I know that I'll end up buying that I have offers for. I'll make a note of them there just so I know which ones to add to my shopping list. And also potentially work them into the meal planning that I'm doing. It's working pretty well for me. I do need to be a bit more adventurous with my meals. I don't tend to cook big meals because it's just for me. I feel like it's a waste of time. So I do tend to kind of go back to the classics or really easy but reasonably healthy meals. But I do need to work in a few more different choices every now and then, rather than just kind of relying on the same things over and over. So that's the monthlies, and then on to the weeklies. So you'll see as we go along that some weeks I use these more than others. Some weeks I'll use stickers, which were the ones that you saw in the first pocket. Some weeks I just keep it very plain and simple and pen only. Lots of rest days, that's when I was ill. But generally the layout changes ever so slightly some weeks, but the bare bones of how I use these pages is for tracking steps, exercise, calories and macros, meal planning, and then other things. So sometimes it might just be a bit of habit tracking. So this is flossing and doing my skincare. Sometimes I'll write the meals for the week so I know what I'm going to, what I've got available. If I just want to kind of I don't like to plan out my day. Like I plan out my days when I'm kind of doing the shopping list, but I don't like to plan out my day specifically in terms of I'm going to eat this on this day. I much prefer just to have a list of, right, these are the meals I've got in the freezer or in the fridge or ready to make, and then I can just pick whichever I feel like. I do have these stickers that I made and popped in the shop, just because some days I'm not going to work out every day. I'm not going to follow a strict eating plan every day, just because I don't need to. I don't have a huge amount of weight to lose. There's probably only about 1 or 2 kilos that I really want to lose. Beyond that is mainly kind of muscle building now, so I don't want to kind of go too heavy with it, and don't want to beat myself up. So a pretty little sticker on those days works fine for me. And that's kind of, as you can see, some weeks I've tried different kind of habit trackers. Some weeks I just keep things really simple. This is this last week, pretty much the same as some earlier months. I've just been adding a few more kind of notes now in terms of how I've been feeling. I've done that on and off throughout the year, just kind of comments around general health, well-being, have I taken any medication, things like that. It's not something that I necessarily keep consistent with, but I do it every now and again. So those are my weekly pages. They work really well for me in terms of keeping me on track, keeping me accountable. I'm definitely a lot more focused when I have something like this, particularly when it's something separate. When I've tried to keep my health and fitness in my cousin along with everything else, it just kind of gets lost in amongst everything. Whereas if I have a separate planner that I have to go to every day, log it, when, as much as I say that I don't beat myself up too much when I have a rest day or a cheat day, seeing it right there in front of me very, very clearly, if I've had, several cheat days or several rest days in a row, it just gives me that kick the next week to go, right, okay, I've had too many rest days, too many cheat days, next week I'm on it. And then next up, we've got the notes pages. So the bulk of the note pages are for finance and budget planning and things like that. They are clipped together because I'm obviously not going to show the details of all my incomings and outgoings, but I use just a really simple budget plan kit from the shop, where I do just list out everything going in. Then on my direct debits, then I set myself my budget for the month, and then this is where the Coletto comes in. So each colour represents a different kind of spending, and I log every single thing that I spend each day and then roll it up into weekly totals and then obviously a monthly total as part of the budget planning. So red is food, blue is petrol, orange is anything to do with the shop and blog, and then navy blue is kind of everything else, so clothes, beauty, stationery, etc. That works really well for me. I will leave a blog post just showing how I do that I wrote probably about 2 years ago now, because I've literally had that system for so long, and it just works so well for me. So yeah, only other things that I have then in the notes pages are these order tracker sheets, which are from the shop. So I have a couple of those and another one there, where literally when I order something, write it in, tick it when it's dispatched, and tick it when I've received it. I then have a couple of pages of kind of meal ideas, meal prep that I kind of played with, don't really use them, need to kind of get back onto that, because I've got plenty of notes pages to kind of create some recipe pages, with the idea being that I kind of write down the meals, write down everything that I need to make it, so I don't, plan to have chili and then forget a really key component to making the chili, which I've just realised I have done, because I have everything to make chili, but I don't have any carbs to go with it. I normally have orzo rather than rice, just because I prefer. So see, I didn't use that, and look what happened. So yeah, I definitely need to use that. And that's it for notes pages. The back, I just tend to keep spare stickers like so, and that is it. So that's my first quarter in my Hobonichi Weeks. Didn't think it was worth kind of a monthly flip, just because it won't necessarily change massively and it will get pretty dull, but I'll probably try and do quarterly ones of this just so you can see any little tweaks, any little updates, and it'll give me a chance to, I guess, a little bit more accountability. So, if next quarter that graph has gone up because my weight has gone up, I'll be telling the world, and hopefully we'll get back on it the following quarter. Or hopefully that won't happen, because I remember that I'm showing this planner to everybody once a quarter, and I don't want to have to say, oh yeah, no, I took 8 weeks off because lockdown finished and so I went out for dinner every day. Don't want that to happen. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If there is anything more you'd like to know about this planner, or how I use it, or even something like a plan with me, or a video on how I budget plan, please let me know in the comments and I will be more than happy to film it. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.